talking about password or credentials part, how user will access all those things, that is coming from authentication part. So these two are the two things that you are seeing in the system from security perspective. And each and every system in SAP holds these two concepts. One is authentication and second is authorization. Authentication is nothing, log into the system, sharing credentials or defining credentials to the user. That is called authentication. Let's take an example how you will create a user. Let's say I'll create one user. Let's say I'll create best one. So under this transaction code, you can see all these menu options. This is create, this is change option, this is display option, delete option, copy option. You have one existing user and you want to copy all the details of that user, then enter that user over here or click over here. You will see from and to option. So you can copy all these details in another user. Then you have lock option, unlock option, change password option. Lock or unlock, you can do it through use this one and change password option. Let's say I'll create one user, best one. Okay, so under this screen, you will see these many sub screens available. One is documentation part. If your organization allow you to do some documentation also, let's say, because whenever you are doing anything in the system, there is one ticket concept in all the organization where you will work in your future endeavors or where you will be working in your future terms. Then all the organization holds one ticketing tool, and that ticketing tool holds the information who is requesting that access, who approved that access, and who will do the analysis, what type of access should be given to that user. Then that ticketing tool access or details, you can put it over here. Let's say you are using Jira, Snow, some other tool you are using. So that ticketing tool number, you can add it over here. So this is basically for documentation purpose. Now the second one is address. Title, you can give Mr., Mrs., then last name. This is a mandatory field. If you see this type of icon, that is a mandatory field. If you are not giving this details, then system will not save your record. Like first name, academic title, all these details you should give and email address over here. Now this screen will give you this user type. I'll explain later. This new password option, here you will give the password. Here you will give the repeat password. Then user group, you will give over here. Then valid from which, let's say you want to give some future validity, user will join in future, and after that you will work on your organization part. Then you can give future validity. If he's already started, you can give today's validity and valid today. Mostly we are giving for 1 year of validity, but it depends on organization how they want to do it. Account number, you can give it and save it. Up to this, let's say if I'll save it over here, this part is called authentication part. Let's say I'll give one password and save it, then user can access this system using these credentials. But at this level, if I have not given any access to this ID, you will not be able to use any of the transactions. Now let's come to this roles part. Here, if I'll give, let's say I'm assigning one roles in the system. So here we have standard roles. Okay, so this is one of the role that I can assign to this ID. If I'll assign this role, you can see it's a green mark, then that means user master record is completed and this role is properly generated. This is the single role. If I'll save it this record, now whatever access this role is having, only that access can be performed by user in real time. Okay, apart from this role, let's say if I'll open this role, it's in the advanced stage. If I'll open this role and if I'll go to this authorization tab, so basically this role does not consist of any T code or something like that. This is basically to give some additional access under a T code. Okay, so through this role, you are not getting any T code access because T codes are mostly given through menu or through authorization s underscore T code object. These two are the advanced stages. I'll explain this later. But right now, if I'll give this role to this user and let's say this role is having access to SU01 and if I'll assign this role to this user and save it, then whenever user will log in with this user ID best one, he will be able to run T code SU01. If he wants to access any other T code, user will display error authorization missing for this T code. Okay. So these are the two concepts in SAP that consist of security part. Okay. Now let's go to one SU01. I'll explain you how SU01 works. Now let's say I'll create one ID and this is one of the details. Now this is the logon data. Now go to this tab. This is SNC tab. SNC tab. So in most of the organization, you are having a single sign-on concept. Okay. What is single sign-on? Let's say you have logged into your business machine and that business machine consists of your business user ID. Now you don't want to log in with your credentials every time. Let's say if I'll close this one and if I'll click on this one again, the system will ask you to enter your credentials. Here it is giving you to enter your credentials, but you don't want to do this activity again and again. Then how you will design that part? So designing comes under basis, but you can maintain whatever string. One string is given to you by basis team, and that string you need to maintain here. That string you need to maintain here, and that string mostly starts with P colon your organization like CH something like that, and it will go on like this one. And once you save this, this will turns to green. If SNC is active on your application server, this will turns green. And once you give this connection, this will show you that canonical name, this particular error will not come over here. Once basis team do the configuration in the system, this will turns green. This will give you an idea whether single sign-on is enabled in your system or not. Okay. And if I'll come to this point, once you can see this screen is green, then you can ask basis team, and you have received a request from the business that I am unable to log in without my credentials. Then in that case, you need to connect with basis team and ask for the SNC name. This SNC name you need to enter over here. Okay, and just save it. Once you save it, you will double click on this screen and directly log into the SAP system. Once you double click on this screen, you don't need to log in your you don't need to enter your credentials. You will directly come to this second screen, this one, the main screen. Right now we are under SU01, but you will directly come to your second screen, your main screen. Okay, now this is basically used for single sign-on. Okay, where you are not entering your credentials, you are just giving the connection name over here, and once user double clicks on the connection name, you will be able to log in through your Windows credentials. Now defaults. So in SAP, you can log in through multiple languages. Like over here, you can see English, Arabic, Bulgarian, Catalan, whatever transaction code SAP delivered in that language, that T code will run in that language only. Okay, let's say if I type Estonian over here and save this record, then user will be able to access all the transaction under this language if that transaction is available and this type of language is downloaded on your machine. Okay, on your server, sorry. This is one of the things. Now this is decimal notation. Whenever you are running some reports in SAP, what type of decimal notation you need in that? So basically in India language, you will be using this one, 1,234,567.8. This type of decimal notation is used in India. But in foreign countries, you will see this type of notation as well as this type of notation. So this depends on the configuration, how business is requesting what type of decimal notation. And based on that, you can choose the decimal notation for that particular user and save it. Then system will show you this type of decimal notation for all the reports, whatever reports available in SAP. Date format. In the same way, you can see all these date format. If date column is available in your reports or in your records or somewhere in the transaction, then that date format will be chosen from this date format, whatever you will choose for that user. Okay, in the same way, time format over here. In case you want to give some output to a printer, then that printer must be allocated to this one. And in case if no printer is added in SAP, then you can choose this default printer, that is LOCL. You will see this printer. Select these two options, print now. Whenever user will click on print option, the print will be given to the printer. You will see so many options over here, but mostly we will be using this one. This printer configuration is not done yet. So this LOCL will be available in general categories where you don't want to allocate a printer directly. So you can choose LOCL and that screen will pop up on your screen. Over there, you can choose your notepad option or printer option, whatever is there in your organization. This is your time zone, whatever time zone you need in your system. So all these things you need to fill based on the business requirements or based on the user requirements. In some organization, you will see it's a generic, like they will say for this country, let's say that organization is running from multiple countries and all those countries is having different format for these all these details. So let's say one user from China says he needs access and you are having already one manual with you, and that manual consists of all these details for China users. So you need to refer that manual and put details as per that field. In some organization, it depends on the user. What type of these field configuration is requested by that user, then in that case, as per user recommendation, you need to fill all these details. Now the next one is parameters. This particular field is basically designed for some of the parameter IDs. In P codes, you will see some default parameters or some default key field. So for those default keys, if you want those to be auto populated or auto filled, then in that case you can put that parameter ID over here and parameter value over here. Then automatically system will fill that field with this detail. Whatever value you will given in over here under parameter, system will fill that detail with this parameter value automatically. If you want to change it, you can change it, but you don't need to enter it manually again and again. If you are running that transaction 10 times in a day and you don't want that field to be entered again and again 10 times, then in that case you can give that parameter ID and value over here and system will auto populate it over there. This is one of the options given by SAP. Okay, now this comes with the roles part. Now under roles there are two concepts. Under roles you will see two concepts. One is roles part and the second one is profile part. So when SAP comes into picture, at that time roles concept is not there. It evolves as per the time or as per the recommendations from client, or you can consider from the consulting firms. In that case, it evolves and comes, and there is a new concept comes into picture that is called roles. But previous to roles, you will see profiles. So profiles is the oldest concepts of giving authorization to the user. Okay. So under profiles, you will see a lot of profiles. Likewise, if I'll open my ID, I think my ID holds. And I'll click on display because I'm not going to change anything. If I'll go over here, you can see SAP all is there. So this basically profile holds all the access, whatever available under SAP. This is one part, and the SAP underscore new, that is another profile that holds all the new concepts, whatever given by SAP in newest releases. Let's say in upcoming release of this year, you will see some new authorization objects introduced or some new T codes introduced. So that part is added under SAP underscore new, not in SAP underscore all. This is oldest part, and SAP underscore new, you will see that one. Okay. This is the this is new authorization checks. Okay. So whenever you are creating or whenever you are working in a implementation projects and basis team hand over the system to your team, then in that case, whatever account you will be creating, all those accounts hold this access SAP underscore all and new for security team, not for other teams. Your team should have this access so that you can create other users, so that you can create new roles, so that you can create. Once system is under stable stages, and you have designed roles as per the teams, then you can assign those roles and remove these profiles. Okay. Why we are removing these profiles, that I'll come later. Okay. Right now, you need to understand the basic concept. So under roles is nothing but a logical container. You can understand it in this way. Roles is nothing but a logical container, and role consists of a word, a letter that is that consists of 30 characters, or a word. You can consider it a phrase also. So whatever you are giving over here, let's say Z colon something something, and that part is having one profile. So under roles, if I'll open this one, set this one. Let's open one role. So I'll open this one. Okay, this is one of the roles. And how to access this roles stream? That is, the T code is pfcg /n pfcg zs underscore T code. This is the role name. I'll go over here and put the same thing and click on display. Mostly you will see these type of option: copy, delete. This is another different concept that is for transport that we will cover later: change and display. Okay, and this I'll cover in some time. Okay, so this Z underscore S underscore T code, if I'll click on display, this will display this role configuration. Under this role, you will see this profile that is called profile. That's how these two concepts are interrelated. Okay, so profile is still, SAP is working with profile only, because if I'll talk in terms of technical terms, so SAP does not understand role. SAP does not understand role. Whatever you are giving over here, SAP does not understand that part. What SAP understand is profile. This is the profile concept that SAP understand, and this profile. If I'll click on this display authorization data, this will display your profile configuration. Okay.